Well, hello there, fellow geeks and geekettes, and welcome to another review video. Kind of. If you've been watching my channel for some time, you know that my reviews are more or less reviews. It's not as if I talked about brand new comics and then rated them. I give the new issue of Squirrel Girl 10 out of 10. That will never happen on my channel, do not worry. So, let me just take a sip of my tea. You're jealous of my Moomin mug? Yeah. The best mug to drink your tea from. Alright then. So, I've been rereading a lot of old comics, as I do, because you can't read modern comics these days. Unless you wanted to feel shitty. And one of the comic book series that I've been rereading, sorry, still got that cold, just doesn't want to leave. One of the comic book series that I've been rereading lately is Hellblazer, the original Hellblazer, as written by Jamie Delano. Now, of course, the character of John Constantine, or Constantine, whatever you want to pronounce his name, was introduced by Alan Moore in his Swamp Thing run. But then, of course, John became such a popular character that he got his own series. As I said, first written by Jimmy Delano and illustrated by, who was it? Ridgway, well, various people. And then it was taken over by people such as, I think Garth Ennis wrote a run of Hellblazer. Then I think, was it Brian Azzarello also? So some star names there. My favorite comic book artist, Simon Bisley, did some cover art for some of the later issues. And there are already more than 20 of these trade paperbacks released, which is the first Hellblazer or John Constantine Hellblazer series collected in these beautiful trade paperbacks. Now, recently, I think that the Garth Ennis's run came out in omnibus, so if you want to get that, I think you still can. But these paperbacks are a very nice way to get this series for, well, quite cheap, and enjoy it. Now, what I have always liked about the character of John Constantine were actually, a couple of things. Firstly, he wasn't necessarily at the beginning the part of the main DC universe. He was introduced in the, Vertigo imprint, which doesn't exist anymore. Well, DC Comics doesn't really exist anymore, by itself. Or maybe, it still does, but we know, where things are going. So he was always, on his own. There were some appearances of him in, other comics. Is a, sort of a part of the main DC universe, mainly cameos. And then I think they introduced John Constantine into the main DC multiverse in the New 52 run, which I haven't read. I haven't really read any of the new contemporary stuff, and I really don't want to because, me and contemporary comics. But, to get to my original point, what I liked about I'll just introduce John Constantine as a character first, so for those of you who have never read the book. He is a British cult detective, sort of. He is a man who, walks around, drives around, flies around the world, mainly Britain, sometimes the USA, and fights demons. Performs various exorcisms, and basically deals with the occult, with the or supernatural stuff. As I said, monsters and demons, things like that. But mainly tries to survive in the world, somehow, as much as possible. But otherwise, he's just a normal bloke. He's just a normal man. He's a guy who smokes one cigarette after another. He is a man who enjoys his drink. In the later issues, I think it was introduced that he had a lung cancer, which was also depicted in the movie with Keanu Reeves, which made John Constantine a black-haired American instead of being a blonde-haired Briton. But that's what he does, you know. He is sarcastic, he's witty, he's funny, he tends to be lazy, but he has a golden heart and a sense for responsibility. He wants to help people and tries as much as he can to make a difference in the world for the better. So I like, firstly, before I get to the original point, I like that he is a very nice and typical example of not really a hero, more of an anti-hero, but who is trying to be a good man. Not necessarily a hero, definitely not a superhero, but a good man. But what I especially like about him, finally, is the fact that, and then specifically in the earlier issues of the run, which the first run I think had over 300 issues or something like that, if I'm not wrong. He didn't really use magic specifically, or at least in the first few paperbacks, you know, or the first few issues, he really didn't use any spells. When he performed rituals, it was usually with the help of somebody else, such as Papa Midnight, or various mysterious characters that he met along the way. And very often he used other people as media for getting rid of one demon or another. But what John Constantine mainly relied on in the first, couple of paperbacks was his own intelligence and his common sense, his ability to, talk his way out of things. But we can see that he's somehow connected with the underworld, with the spiritual world, and with the occult. For instance, he's got the ability to see things that not everybody sees, right? Like dead people, ghosts, demons. He recognizes them instantly. As I said, he is a ritual being performed by, John Constantine, but really Papa Midnight performs this ritual to capture a demon, and they intend to capture this particular demon in a body of a junkie. So I like the fact, I like the raw character of the comic book series, the early comic book series. He really, he does what needs to be done, and although he tries to be as good man as possible, when he sees that a demon needs to be captured, he does not hesitate to use a low-life character as a means to capture this demon, so that demon cannot attack normal people, civilians, anymore. And that's what I liked about him. But otherwise, as you can see, this is like a typical representation of John Constantine here, being a Briton, blonde-haired, enjoying his drink, looking rugged, looking very tired all the time, which I can't really blame him for, considering, the things he had to go through during his life. So what I liked, once again, about the character of John Constantine, by the way, the art is beautiful. You can see that this is the old school way of drawing, everything done by hand. It almost looks scratchy, right? So you can really see the lines of the pencil there. No computer help as far as the artwork goes, which I really like. Look at that. Some of these pictures might, seem gruesome to somebody, but what the hell, whatever. We are talking about John Constantine, right? It ain't no squirrel girl, son. It ain't no squirrel girl. As John Constantine, about that looks very kinky. You know, so but the demons are kinky, well, they tend to be kinky. So, once again, I like the raw character of the comic book series, and the fact that John Constantine relies on his intelligence, relies on his wit, relies on, as I said, his ability to get out of things, and it's in this way he's very close to Batman. But the difference, of course, being the fact that Batman is a mastermind, detective and chemist and mathematician, and a master of martial arts, like 1,000 of them. And John Constantine is a heavy smoker, heavy drinker, occult magician, who uses magic only when necessary. Now, I know that in the later series he tended to use magic more, but at the beginning, as I said, he relied on completely different things. Now, when I read this page specifically, I laughed, I chuckled a little bit, because I remembered that they used this precise thing in the movie with Keanu Reeves, if you can remember. Except in the movie it was a spider. It is a cockroach, I think. Him sitting at a table and smoking, and then there is the little bug crawling on the table, and he puts a glass on the cockroach or on the spider in the movie, and like puffs a smoke from the cigarette into that. And in the film he said, "Welcome to my world," which he doesn't say here, but I liked that homage that was made to the original comic book in the movie. See, that's once again awesome, right? This, as I said, junkie lowlife being devoured and possessed, or really not devoured, but possessed by the demon being represented by flies and bees and things like that. And to the end, there's a very nice cover of the first paperback, drawn by Jim Lee. And I very much like John Constantine drawn by Jim Lee, because you don't see that very often, right? Jim Lee draws a lot of superheroes. He likes drawing superheroes like Batman and Superman, but seeing him, drawing a John Constantine sitting on a angel demon thing, beautiful. Sorry, the freaking cold. Right, so yeah, that's what I loved about the original Hellblazer series. What do you think, my friends? Have you read the original John Constantine Hellblazer by Vertigo or not? Are you going to read it, or have you read any of the newer stuff? And what do you think about that? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me take one more sip of my tea and say that is all from me, my friends. See you in another video very soon. Do not forget to dislike this video if you don't like it, or like this video if you like it, and subscribe to this unimportant channel of an unimportant geek talking about unimportant things. Bye.